happy, yeah. Been this way so long, it feels like something's off when I'm not depressed. I got some issues that I won't address. I got some baggage I ain't open yet. I got some demons I should put to rest. I got some traumas that I can't forget. I got some phone calls I've been avoiding. Some family members I don't really connect with. Some things I said I wish I would've not let slip. Some hurtful words that never should've left my lips. Some bridges burned, I'm not ready to rebuild yet. Some insecurities I haven't dealt with yet. I'll be the first to admit that I'm a lonely soul, and the last to admit I need a hand to hold. Losing hope, headed down a dangerous road. Strange I know, but I feel most at home when I'm living in my agony, watching my self-esteem go up in flames, acting like I don't care what anyone else thinks, when I know truthfully that that's the furthest thing from how I feel. But I'm too proud to open up and ask you to pick me up and pull me out this hole I'm trapped in. The truth is I need help, but I just can't imagine who I'd be if I was happy. Don't know what's around the bend. Don't know what my future is, but I can't keep on living in. Living in my agony, watching my self-esteem go up in flames, acting like I don't care what anyone else thinks, when I know truthfully that that's the furthest thing from how I feel. But I'm too proud to open up and ask you to pick me up and pull me out this hole I'm trapped in. The truth is I need help, but I just can't imagine who I'd be if I was happy. If I was happy. If I was happy. I could write a record full of radio songs, do a bunch of features that my label would love, do a bunch of features that I don't even like, just to build up the hype. Yeah, I could sell my house and move out to LA, get inside of rooms with the biggest of names, hire 50 people just to give me advice on the way I should write. Oh God, yeah, sounds like a nightmare if you ask me. Yeah, went from my bedroom to the big leagues. You know how many times that I was told things wouldn't work but worked out. Having cold feet didn't keep me from success but delayed it some. I used to be the guy who killed to get it #1. I had to hear that song's a hit before I thought it was, but nowadays I don't really give a what? Oh God, yeah. Might catch me at the award show, eating popcorn in the back row, catching Z's with my hat low. No nominations, but it's cool though. Oh God, you might see me in the same clothes I had on last week. Am I ashamed? No. Yeah, you heard this saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's my motto. Yeah, I miss buying CDs at the store and thumbing through the cases trying to make a choice. That'll make no sense to you, well of course. See, one man's inconvenience is another's joy. Wow, wow, how are you unemployed? Telling me to get a life, you should look at yours. Yup, congratulations, you can raise your voice. Hope you break both of your legs falling off your horse. Oh snap, this is the industry where it ain't how big you are, it's how big you seem. Where people sacrifice the art trying to chase a dream, and they wonder why their music's lacking creativity. Oh yeah, would've gave anything to be respected by the artists I was listening to, but not no more, them days of history. Skip the red carpet, you looking for me. Oh God, yeah, you might catch me.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hey, super excited to have you taking the time to hang out with me. My name is Tyler. Welcome to Hack Smarter Live. Do want to let you know right away that I'm live right now on 3 different platforms. You can join on whichever platform works best for you, but I am live right now on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch. On YouTube and LinkedIn, I just stream under my name, Tyler Ramsbey. And over on Twitch, I stream under the name hack_smarter. So YouTube and LinkedIn, it's Tyler Ramsbey. Twitch, it is hack_smarter. But yo, super excited to have you here. Let me pull up chat. My cat's even joining us. Come on up, cat. He's jealous. You can't see him because I'm in all black. My cat's in all black, about as hacking as you can get, right? All black. But let me look at chat. See who's all hanging out. We got Zero Cool with the first blood as usual. We got Sank Logic almost there, just lost by a few milliseconds. Good to have both of you here. What up, Mando? Good to have you. We got Jason Hyde checking in, working on the PWPP. Amazing. We got Gregory with the first like over on YouTube. Spoon said, is this continuing of the last stream? It is. We are hopefully, the plan is to shoot part 3 of the Solving Pentest Hiring Challenge series, and we're going to focus on privilege escalation and getting that root flag. What up, Nefos? Good to have you here. What up, Drewzilla? Was just watching the AWS Pentesting course. Amazing. Hey, thank you again for being one of the people that purchased that course. What is up, Nox Lumens? Good to have you here. And then I answered this for Henry in chat, but I will just say for the rest of you, my intro to AWS Pentesting course is still available right now for $20 for lifetime access. This is 65 hands-on lessons taught by me, a real pen tester, not just an influencer, that walks you through setting up your own AWS pen testing lab, taking you from beginner to about intermediate level when it comes to AWS pen testing. So if you have not purchased my course, you should. The price does go up on June 1st. It's still going to be crazy affordable, but on June 1st, the price goes up to $34.99, but right now you can get it for only $20. I just dropped a link in the chat, so if you haven't purchased the course, go get it. I think you'll really enjoy it. I'll just even say, like, if you don't like my course, I will give you your $20 back. That's how confident I am in it. It's received way more positive feedback than I was expecting, and way more people enrolling in it than I was expecting. So seriously, thank you to all of you who have checked out that course to make that a success, and also just showing me that, hey, if I make high quality courses, people will actually purchase them, which is cool. Like initially, I want to do all my courses for free. My intro to hacking methodology course is free, but guys, those courses, what I realized, are an insane level of work. Not only that, but the student support I do after that. I'm always helping people in DMs, helping them set things up. 99% of the time it's because they forgot to follow an instruction in the beginning of the course, but it's an incredible amount of work. So as much as I would just like to do it for free, I am going to start charging for those courses. Although the pen testing course also has unlimited scholarships. I just checked now. I have given away $3,000 worth of scholarships for my course as well. So amazing. All right, let me look at chat. What up? It's me, Double CK. You're new here. Well, good to have you. We got Rain and Light. Good to have you as well. Let me scroll through. We got Drewzilla. We got Maul saying it's morning. We got Jared Bennett said, oh boy, do I have a question? Well, let me know your question. What up, Chris? I don't know how to say your last name, dude, but good to have you, fellow YouTuber. We got Bale checking in about Hoi Manoi. We got Default Sec. Everyone's saying hi to the cat. What's my cat's name? All right. Very quick story time. When we got my cat, we got him when he was like a tiny, tiny little kitten. So when we got him as a kitten, his name was Dracula. I did not like that name. So after we got him, I named him Bandit. So like his government or slave name is Bandit. But then he was Bandit for a while. Then when my daughter was like 2 or 3, she was afraid of goats. And I showed her a video of baby goats, you know, like how they pounce and jump. And then she just started calling my cat Baby Goat. So for a long time, his name then became Baby Goat, which left many people confused when they would come over and my daughter would call my cat a baby goat. They thought, what are you teaching your daughter? But his name was Baby Goat. He still sometimes goes by that. But then when I was rereading the Lord of the Rings books, you know, Gollum or Smeagol, the My Precious guy on there, my cat's personality reminded me of him. So like his name now is Smeagol. He sometimes goes by Smeegs, or my kids call him Kiki or just Kitty. So he responds to Kiki, Smeegs, Smeagol, sometimes Bandit, but not as often, Baby Goat. He has many names. I don't like cats. Since Tyler has one, I'm going to get one. There you go. Hey, Knox, thank you for dropping my course as well. Jay said, already bought it. Pretty solid. Thank you. Interested if you know any good AWS defense courses. I really like your course, but I work in a blue team. Yes, cyber.com. And at the end of my course, there is 25% off cyber.com. Cyber is cybr.com. I've showcased some of their labs on stream, including their blue team stuff, but their quality is top tier, both blue team and red team. Make sure you check them out. Hey there, I'm new to cyber. Started learning at Try Hack Me. I've been liking your videos a lot. First time in a live. Well, hey, thank you for joining the party in live real time, and thank you for the kind words. How similar is hacking on other cloud platforms? Very similar. I mean, once you learn one cloud platform, you begin to understand common misconfigurations in all of them. So if you know AWS really well, you can pick up Azure and GCP pretty quickly. It's kind of like programming languages. What up, the operator? What up, Elbivio? What up, Sub-Zero? What up, Jimmy Barrios? Jimmy, I don't know if anyone's approved your CloudGoat scenario. There was someone on our team who's supposed to be looking into it, but I don't think they approved it. So if they don't, hurry up. I'll look through it myself. What up, Nito? What up, Anush? Good to have you here again, my friend. We have Poner Joe checking in. I love the stream, sir. I've been watching on demand. Thought I'd catch a live stream real quick to say sup. What is up, dude? Good to have you here. All right, well, I made it through chat. There's a whole bunch of other you because we have 50 people right now across the different platforms. So if you are just lurking, if you're just throwing me in the background while you work, that's totally fine. You are welcome to lurk. You're welcome to throw me on your side screen. That's okay. I'm here to keep you company. Maybe you can watch, we can learn, we can hack together. But let me know where you're joining from. I would love to hear from you if you are live in chat right now. Also, before we dive into the machine, happy to do a quick AMA. So if you have any questions about pen testing, cybersecurity, cloud stuff, content creation, life, just feel free to ask your questions, and I'll spend a little bit of time answering them. My VM just locked up. Let me log back in. Hey, Sif said, hello, sir. What's your recommendation for a certification as a first-year cybersecurity student? In your first year in cybersecurity, you want to get good with foundations. And the best certs for that are the CompTIA Trifecta. This is not sponsored by CompTIA, but those were the first certs I got. So the A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus, although they're more theoretical in nature, are going to give you a solid foundation, and they're well-known. They're also affordable. So those would be kind of the CompTIA Trifecta is what I would recommend. What up, Spook? Joining us from Germany. Amazing. Jimmy said, cool. No, I haven't heard back from anyone. Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, that's the downside of, so CloudGoat is maintained by where I work, which is Rhino Security Labs. That's where I'm currently a pen tester. But we don't have, anyone dedicated to CloudGoat, so it's just all of us. Well, we're a small team as well, but a small team of pen testers that we try to maintain CloudGoat and Paku and our other open source tools, in addition to, our pen testing job. So we're entering into Q3, Q4, which for pen testing is a crazy time. I'm right now, I'd have to double check, but I'm booked solid for pen test for a bunch of different companies, but I'm booked solid for pen testing from now until I think the end of August. So pen test with no breaks, right? So if for pen test companies, now is a pretty crazy time of the year. So if it's a little bit slower to respond, that is why. Marshall said, just finish up THM SOC 1 capstone challenges. If I burn through the SOC simulator, will I be adequately prepared for the SAL 1? Yes, you will be. The SOC simulator is almost identical to what you're going to encounter on the exam. Just different scenarios, of course. What up, Mary Ellen Kennel? Good to have you here again. Have you already talked about when you'll be releasing the phishing course? Yes, so I just released a promo video, or not really a promo, more of a preview video on my YouTube channel. So if you guys don't follow me on YouTube, that is my main platform. You should go subscribe, but you can go to my YouTube channel and find a preview for the phishing course. I plan on releasing it mid-July. So I don't have a hard date set. Let me pull this up. But I would say July 7th. Or July 14th, maybe July 14th. I probably don't want to release it right around the 4th of July holiday for those in the US. So maybe July 14th, but not set in stone, but for sure early to mid-July is when I'm going to release that course. I have the curriculum mapped out, still need to film everything. Unfortunately with that one, I can't film it while I'm streaming. So I'm going to have to take a week or 2 weeks off to make that course because like I shared before, I can only do it in the evenings. I work a full-time job as a pen tester. I have to wait for my kids to fall asleep, and then I'm on here. So I cannot live stream and make courses at the same time, at least things like the fishing course, because that will get my YouTube channel banned. Now, I shared this in a little YouTube short that I released, but guys, my dream job, if anyone is able to make this possible, here's my dream job. I want to be able to teach and do pen testing full-time. And I am making steps to make that dream a reality. My AWS course was way more successful than I thought, and it provided significantly more income than I was expecting. I'm putting all of that in an LLC, and I have the other courses coming out. The thing that I just don't know about is my course made good money like when it released, but like I don't know how my courses will do 2 or 3 months from now. I'm going to continually update them. They're going to be fresh, but I've never done this course thing. So if I can make decent income from courses and I can fill in the rest by doing like some contract work, I will have so much more time to stream, to teach, to mentor, to grow Hack Smarter, to help with Simply Cyber. Don't know if that will become a reality, but it would be amazing if it did. So when that happens, I will be able to help with things a lot more than I am now, instead of compressing everything to like late night after my kids are asleep. So I'm speaking it into existence. It will happen. I just don't know when, but that's what I'm aiming for. I also had someone say like, Tyler, there's an org that does that. Like they hire people. But here's the thing, guys, to be honest with you, I don't feel like working for other people anymore. Like, when this ever happens where I do content creation on more of a full-time basis, I don't want to do it for another org, or I want to do it like an equal partnership with another org. But I want to build my own thing just because it's more fun that way. So like I said, realistically, will that ever happen? I have no idea, but that's what I'm slowly aiming for. And I think courses might be a big part of getting there, offering high quality but very affordable courses, in addition to all this free stuff that I do all the time. Did you have other jobs in cybersecurity industry before pen testing? So yes, actually I can show this to you guys. I can show you my full work history. Give me just a second. This might be kind of fun. Let me get LinkedIn pulled up here because it's all on my LinkedIn profile. And we can go through my work history. You guys can see it. So here is my LinkedIn. Let's view all my 12 experiences. And actually, some of my jobs aren't even on here. My first job in IT was actually back in 2012. I graduated from high school in 2012, so you can figure out my age if you want. But I graduated from high school in 2012, and my first job was working IT support at a vet clinic. A little bigger than your typical vet clinic, but I did IT support there. But then I went into pastoral ministry. So I was a pastor for 10 years. But while I was a pastor, my pay was terrible. So I was always doing side jobs. So like one of the things I did kind of as a side hustle is I was a technology teacher for a school district, a big school district in the area. And I just did one-on-one and class teachings for like basic computer stuff. Also, on the church side of things, I was essentially director of IT for a church that had multiple campuses, including like an international campus over in D-Side, Jamaica. Nothing super security related, but just your typical IT stuff. Then I worked at Southeast Tech School. I didn't do a whole lot of computer stuff there. It was very part-time. So I worked like 3 jobs when I was a pastor. This was one of them for those 4 years. But I was a computer and business tutor, so did some IT stuff, but not a whole lot. From there, I was an IT coordinator for a church. From there, I got my real full leadership job. And there's actually a job that is skipped here. I worked at a really cool company called Interstates, but I was only there for 5 months. So I felt weird having it on my resume because it looked like, why did you quit in 5 months? But the company was amazing. I quit because I got offered this IT support manager job and they paid me $15,000 more than what I was making. So I was working here doing IT support, also did some security stuff there. From there, I was a technical analyst on the blue team at a large bank. They are now Global Credit Union, I believe is their name, but really large financial institution. And what I did there was essentially vulnerability management, some scripting, things like that. Of course, started Hack Smarter. And then from Alaska, USA, that's when I got hired for my first pen testing job. Started out as an associate pen tester. I'm now a career pen tester, but I lead all of these different pen test types. So function more as a senior pen tester in my role now, and likely that's going to be my job title very soon. Also do Try Hack Me stuff, also do stuff for Simply Cyber Academy. So that's very quickly my job history and how I broke into cyber, if you want to use that word. All right, let me look at chat. Is now a good time to cold send Rhino a resume? Probably not. Opinions on networking as part of game dev and security games. Do you mean like network security? Yeah, it's super important. That question requires a lot of time, so I'll just leave it at that. But yes. Answer a few more. Is PMPT the right cert to pursue? I have a master's in computer science, so I don't want to do the Sec Plus. I do plan to get OSCP at CPDS after PMPT. I have around 5 years. Yes. PMPT is amazing. It's much more real world than the OSCP. Heath Adams, who teaches the Practical Ethical Hacking course, is one of the best teachers I know. Very much a good plan, and PMPT is really starting to get name recognition as well. What up, Hasa from Malaysia? Good to have you here. What up, Victor? Can your fish course be used for simulations in Azure cloud environments? I'm not quite sure if I understand your question, Sank. For simulations? You'll have to elaborate. Just got your course. Thank you, DNL, for buying my course. I appreciate it. Default Sec, is there a way to shadow a pen tester to get experience? Wondering if one can put that on a resume to fill in the experience gap. There is an organization that allows you to do that. Is it like the Human IT Project? Someone in chat might know, where they do that sort of thing. You can't shadow me, like Rhino wouldn't allow something like that, but I know some orgs do that. I just don't know them off the top of my head. Someone in chat might be able to help you out, though. Thank you, Nefos, about the course. Appreciate that. I hope so. All right, let me scroll through. Rain and Light said, could have had you as my computer teacher. Did you go to Southeast Tech? I won't totally dox you, but I know we live in a similar area and I know where you go now. Did you start there? If so, that's awesome. I used to do all the new student presentations. So like as part of managing the support center, when new students would come to campus like for their visit, I would go in like the big auditorium and speak to all the students. So if you were ever there, there's a good chance you saw me up on stage telling you not to buy a Chromebook for your course. Once you learn web app, are the other pen testing types easy to learn? No, they're all hard. Tara, can you talk about your educational experience in cybersecurity comp science? I can a little bit. So I have a bachelor's in cybersecurity through WGU. I have an associate's in business and a master's in divinity. Most of my educational experience is what you're seeing right now. It's just me grinding it out and learning every single night. What did you do for IT help desk job, like day to day? I actually really enjoyed help desk. What I did for help desk, and this is different than other people, some people's help desk jobs is like a glorified call center. Mine was for an internal help desk, and although I was IT support level 1, I had a lot of freedom to really do deep troubleshooting and dig into different things like networks and VMs. Was brand new to Active Directory, but was hands-on with Active Directory because I helped administer AD in a variety of different ways. So for me, it was, they used Fresh Service or Fresh Desk back then. I would log in and tickets would be coming in. I would just grab a ticket. I would spend time working the ticket, resolve it for the employee, jump to the new ticket. And it was on site, but was an amazing job. Thoroughly enjoyed help desk. If help desk would just pay a little bit better, I would just stay in help desk. I really did enjoy it. Are you enjoying the Hack the Box Pro Labs? How realistic? You know, I've only done 2 of them, I think. They're definitely good. The best networks, though, are VulnLab. Unfortunately, Hack the Box bought VulnLab, so I don't know what that's going to be for those networks. But thank you, Richard. Are you still partnering with NahamSec? Hey, good question. Me and NahamSec are meeting on Monday. So I'll let you know how that goes. We're going to talk on Monday about some projects we can partner on and ways we can work together. So Monday, meeting with NahamSec. He just scheduled it on my calendar today. Oh, for threat hunts, trying to make it realistic. I mean, potentially, as far as indicators of compromise go, yeah, potentially. That won't be the focus of my course, though. How does one get involved in the physical side of pen testing? So I don't do physical pen testing much. I shouldn't say much. I don't do physical pen testing at all. My organization does it. And from my experience, if you want to get into physical pen testing, if you get a job as a pen tester, that opportunity will arise and you just have to raise your hand and you'll get the opportunity to go. I don't do it for a few different reasons. Number one, I don't like traveling. I much prefer to be home with my wife and 2 kids. I have no interest in going all around to different companies on site. If that was a requirement of my job, I would quit my job, to be blunt. I don't care about making money that much. I just want to be able to pay my bills. The other part of it that I'm a little bit uncomfortable with, just personally for physical pen testing, this isn't for other people. It's amazing that people do this, and it's a huge need to be able to do it. But for me personally, I would have a really hard time looking in someone's eyes and just flat out lying to them in order to get access to something in their organization. I'm glad people do it, but I don't want to do it. Let me scroll through. Chuck said, first time being able to catch you live. Just got your course. Amazing. Hey, enjoy the course. I think I'd like to go more into bug bounty than pen testing as a full-time job because I like programming a lot. Bug bounty looks sexy on the surface. It's really hard and inconsistent to do it full-time. Even the HomSec would tell you that. Oh yeah, I know the CTE Academy. That's awesome, Rainlight. So cool. All right, let me scroll through. Few more questions. All right, Michael, don't ask your question over and over again. I will eventually get to it. Amar said, question, I'm in cybersecurity major, but I don't know how can I take it to the next level. I've been doing Try Hack Me rooms, done 71, but still feeling something missing. You need to get certs. A lot of people have degrees. You need to get certs. If you don't have the CompTIA trifecta, start with that. That'll help you stand out above the other students in your class. And then if you want to get into offensive security, PMPT and OSCP is going to be your way in. Mary said, that's why I got out of physical pen testing. Exactly. Like, I'm glad people can do it, but I don't know. I don't know if it's my faith that kind of gets in the way, which I'm okay with, but like I'm a Christian, right? And not just like a lot of people say that and it's very surface level. Like, my faith is significantly more important to me than everything else in my life. It's the one thing more important to me than my family, right? So that's a huge part of my life. I tried to take Jesus seriously, not on a religious sense, but like really trying to live how this incredible person taught us to live and keeping in mind his life, death, resurrection, all of that good stuff. So that might be part of it. The other part of it is just like, I don't feel right lying, and I don't think anyone feels right lying. But I'm glad people are able to do it as a physical pen test. They can kind of separate or compartmentalize that part of them. I can't, because like the more you lie, at least personally speaking, the more you lie, even if it's part of your job, the easier it becomes to lie in your personal life. And then, I don't know. I'm just not comfortable doing it myself. I'm glad other people do, but that's why I don't do it. In your analyst job, did you do incident response stuff? Yes, occasionally I did when there was an incident. The Moose said, bro, I've been in Japan for the last 3.5 years, and it was always impossible to catch out on live streams. Now I'm in Cali, West Side, and can watch it every Thursday. Amazing. Hey, good to have you here. My advice, work with an ISP or MSP and get certs. That's good advice. Michael said, sorry about that. I tried to shift enter. Oh, no worries. All right, guys, we got 70 people hanging out. Welcome, all of you, to the coolest live stream around. What we are going to do is we're going to continue a series I started. And let me just show you this series. So you might be a little bit lost if you missed my previous live streams or previous videos on this. But hey, do not despair. All of it is on my YouTube channel. Let me get it pulled up right here. If you do not follow me on YouTube, you should follow me on YouTube. As I said before, this is my primary platform. I do stream on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitch, but all of my live streams and standalone videos you can find right here on my YouTube channel. So if we go over to videos here is the series I'm working through, and it's through a machine on VulnLab called Reset. But the really cool thing about this machine is it is a retired pen test hiring challenge. So if you want to become a pen tester, generally the way it works is you do an initial interview, kind of get a feel for who you are. From there, you'll do a second interview, kind of more of a chemistry, do you fit on the team? And if you pass that interview, you will receive a technical challenge, which is like a machine that you work through. Now, the goal of that technical challenge isn't to solve the machine. The goal is to find as many vulnerabilities as you can, take good notes, because then you'll debrief with the interviewers and you'll explain to them, hey, here's what I did, here's what I found, here's where I got stuck. They're not looking to see if you can solve the machine. They're looking to understand your thought process and to figure out if you're good at documenting things. So this machine's amazing because it's a real Pentest hiring challenge, so you can get a feel for what it's like. So I'm doing a mini series through this, breaking it up into 3 different parts. Part 1, we did enumeration. Part 2, we did exploitation. And now part 3, which is the video we're going to record tonight, is privilege escalation. Now, if you're new to my live streams, it's a little bit confusing because when I start recording for YouTube, I'm actually going to make a standalone video for YouTube while I'm streaming. So over on OBS, I hit record. I welcome everyone, but you guys get to be in the studio audience. I'll leave the chat up on screen as long as you keep it PG. You can tell your mom hi. You can welcome people who are watching it after the fact, but that's the fun of being part of the live stream. You get to be part of the filming of the show, so to speak, but that's going to be the focus tonight. What I need to do now is launch the machine. Let me go to camera here real quick. You launch Vulnlab machines from their Discord once you have an account. So I need to go ahead and get this machine launched. Maybe. I hit start. It gave me an IP and then it disappeared. Might be bugging out. Give me a second to see if I can figure this out. I have to wait 30 seconds before I can do anything. So talk amongst yourselves. How's life, everyone? It's been a few days since I've been on stream. Has anyone accomplished anything awesome since the last stream? I would love to hear any wins that you have in your own life, in your own journey. Let me know. Let us all know. Let us all be able to celebrate with you. Has anyone gotten any new certs? Has anyone signed up to take a cert? Has anyone finished a course? Has anyone started a course? Has anyone solved the seasons machines on Hack the Box? I've solved the 2 season machines so far. Puppy. Really enjoyed Puppy and just solved Fluffy. Freaking confusing. But Fluffy as well. Fluffy, I'm pretty sure, is named after the 3-headed dog in Harry Potter for obvious reasons if you do the machine. It was rated as easy. I did not think it was easy. Can't say why. It will, I think, become easy in like 2 or 3 months when a few things get updated, but it was a good machine. Mark said, I started the PMPT program. Amazing. By starting the program, do you mean starting the course or the courses? If so, what do you think of it? What do you think about TCM's Academy? What do you think about Heath? I promise I won't tell him what you say. Can I start this machine? Still got to wait 30 seconds. What? Guys, it's not letting me launch this machine. Hey, Neflos, if you're here, can you go test Vulnlab? Can you launch a machine? I want to make sure it's not just me. Oh my goodness. The Moose Matrix. Dude. Or girl. I don't want to assume your gender, but thank you so much for your generosity. The Moose Matrix coming in hot with $100 super chat. Jesus is king. He is. Dude, thank you, thank you, thank you. Seriously. For your support, for your generosity, for your kindness, and for being here. Thank you. You're amazing. Hey, I got it. All right, Nefos, you don't have to check. I closed out the machine like panel, reopened it, and now it's giving me the IP. So we're good. It just bugged out just on my end. Yesterday I had an interview, said Ali. Amazing. How did it go? Do you think it went well? Yeah, we're good on Vulnlab, guys. I fixed it. It was just a weird bug on my Discord. Now you guys can watch me. We have to get a lot of things set up before I can even film part 3, because remember, part 3 is privilege escalation. So before we can do privilege escalation, I have to get back to where we were at in the first place. So let me update some IPs. All right, cool. We got that. I can close this out. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm not going to explain everything I'm doing, because like I said, there's 2 full videos that come before this one. but I do need to get everything back to where it was at. Specifically, we need to reset an admin password, log in, perform log poisoning, get a reverse shell. There's actually quite a bit of stuff we have to do. That's the only downside of making videos in 3 different parts like this, but let me see if I can speed run this real quick. We go forgot password. My password's admin. Need to go over to here, turn on intercept on Kaido, hit send reset email. Throw that over to replay, hit send on that, go over to this, go ahead and drop that request, turn off queuing, grab the password, go back to the browser, exit out of this, log in as admin, control V, now we are logged in. Now what we're gonna do is turn on intercept again, hit view logs, go over to intercept, control R to send it over to replay, turn queuing off, jump over to my notes, and grab the Apache log information right there. Jump back over to Kaido, close the extra window, jump back over to Kaido again, and grab the file, control V, and I pasted the wrong thing in. How about we use the file parameter only once instead of twice, paste that in. Hopefully that gives us the Apache access logs. And it does give us the Apache access logs. We got that, so we confirmed log poisoning, blah, 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 blah. Now we're going to get our reverse shell. We can reuse this one because I have the same IP, 10.8.4.163, netcat MVLP 1337. Go ahead and grab this for my user agent. Paste in the user agent up here to do the log poisoning. The rest of that should be good. Hit send on here. Hit send again. And that gives me a shell. Look at that. I just speed run that thing in like, I don't know, 2 minutes. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, I'll answer a few quick questions before I start recording for YouTube. I have done UC fishing with Corey Macy, presents fishing for beginners. No coding, no complex setup, just the fundamentals yesterday. That's awesome. What did you, I think she's releasing a course, right? I saw my friend John Hammond talking about that over on Just Hacking Training, which is another cool platform. Curious what you guys think of it. I think it's justhacking.training, or is it Just Hacking Training? If you haven't heard of this, this is John Hammond's like training platform. If it will load. They have some courses, some upskill challenges are free. Hack-alongs is like work alongside John's videos, and some capture the flag stuff where they host it. They have the all-star lineup, although I don't like this phrase right here. Like, I don't like the celebrity all-star language about these things, but that's beside the point. They actually reached out to me about having my courses on here, but I decided to partner with Simply Cyber instead. I just know Jerry a lot better, and I really like Jerry. But I had the opportunity to be on here, but I went with Simply Cyber Academy. OSINT does look cool. OSINT is Michelle. Michelle? I don't know how to say his name. I know he's well known. He actually shared my cloud course. Super nice, genuine guy. But you have his next level OSINT, level up OSINT. Those are amazing. I've heard a lot of good things about this constructing defense course as well. So if you guys haven't checked out justhacking.com, make sure you do. I think the courses are a little bit pricier. Although I don't know the cost. Like, let's see. Oh yeah, it's $500. So a little bit more expensive than my courses. But $160, that's not too bad. But I mean, like, you get what you pay for. Like, this stuff I'm sure is incredibly high quality. $150. But then I think, like, if I go to home, the upskill challenges are free, but these are just like blogs essentially. But yeah. Anyways, Simply Cyber Account. Oh, can I show you guys something cool before we get started? I made this, all right? Let me show you this. So one of the issues that I was having with Simply Cyber Academy is before me, it was mainly Jerry, I think one other person who had courses on it, but they weren't technical courses. And the reason I make that clarification is courses that aren't technical don't need as much like student support and troubleshooting a lot of the time. Well, I now have, between my 2 courses on the Academy, about 6,000 students enrolled in my courses. And as I come out with more, I would not be surprised if I have 15 to 20,000 students by the end of the year. And people ping me on Discord. They message me on LinkedIn. They send me emails. It's hard for me to keep everything in one place. I was like, yo, Jerry, bruh, we need like a ticketing system, like support. But then I looked at the cost of ticketing systems. Either they're really expensive or they suck. They look terrible. So I was like, screw it. I'm making our own ticketing system. So I made this for Simply Cyber Academy in a few different spots. So let me go here. You can get to it from Simply Cyber Academy if you go to support. This is all custom coded, custom designed by yours truly, and it's free. Like, I simplified the process. This doesn't cost me or Simply Cyber Academy any money to do this. But you can check this out, right? So we have some frequently asked questions here. You can submit a ticket here. If you select like course related, you can put in the course. And then if you send a ticket, it automatically wraps over to Simply Cyber's Discord. And we have like a ticket channel just for instructors set up. So I got annoyed by everyone pinging me in different places. So I made a ticketing system. It also has its own website. I think it's like academysupport.simplycyber.io. I might have that wrong. Yeah, there it is. So here's the website as well. So I was looking at platforms that were costing a crazy amount of money. I'll turn that off so it looks a little bit better. And I made it myself with a little bit of HTML. So really the front end, you can look at this, is literally just, well, it's wrapping it bad here. I think Firefox, but it really is just HTML. Actually, it's on my GitHub. If anyone wants to steal it, you can. So if you have a similar platform, I try to open source everything I make. And so here's the code. Check it out. I'll drop it in chat. Don't know if it's going to be helpful for anyone else. Is it vulnerable? You cannot hack it. I mean, you can try, but like it's literally a static website. There's not much to hack. The one thing that I had to be careful of, and I'll show this to you guys, like the website itself is just HTML, but the thing you have to be careful of is when it comes to like Discord, to connect it with Discord, you need a Discord webhook, and you don't want to expose the Discord webhook. There's not a whole lot of things people could do with it besides like being able to spam the Discord channel, so not that big of a deal, but you don't want to expose the Discord webhook in your front end code. But I also didn't want to have a complicated website, so I ended up doing a Cloudflare worker, if you've ever heard of that, almost like a proxy. So it actually sends the request to this, which is my Cloudflare worker, which is free, method not allowed because you need to send it a post request, but it sends it to that because that then hides the Discord webhook. Here's actually my Cloudflare worker code. You can see it pulls in the Discord webhook via an environmental variable that's stored as a secret in Cloudflare so that end users don't have any way of getting access to that Discord webhook to abuse it. But I spent a little bit of time making that, and it turned out much better than I was expecting. It looks nice. It's very simple, easy to maintain, and it looks a lot better than most IT ticket platforms, and it's a lot simpler than those IT ticket platforms. So if you do have any issues with Simply Cyber Academy or with my courses, or you need support, check out my new support page that I made for Simply Cyber Academy. Very happy how that turned out. On the Academy, which is built on Teachable, you can embed pages. So this is just that website embedded onto there. One other thing is we're working on a blog. So I don't have any of my blogs here. I have 4 blogs, I think, ready to go. I think Jerry's trying to release one every single week. So if you follow Simply Cyber Academy's blog, you'll see some blogs from me about pen testing, career stuff, cybersecurity. So if you don't follow Simply Cyber, you should. That's awesome. Thank you all. Appreciate it. The Moose Matrix said, did I hear last week that you were going to be at DEF CON? Yes. This will be my 3rd year at DEF CON, and even better, not only will I be at DEF CON, but I am hosting a meetup again. I hosted a meetup last year, but this time we're doing it together. Hack Smarter and Simply Cyber. We have rented out a full brewery near the strip, and we are paying for an open bar for everyone. So come to our meetup. I will buy you a drink, no strings attached. Make sure you're there. It's going to be on Friday night. I don't know if we have actually announced all the details. I don't know the time, but this is what I can say. Friday night at DEF CON, Hack Smarter, Simply Cyber meetup. I don't remember the name of the brewery, but stay tuned to both of our Discords. You'll see an announcement come out. But no strings attached. Come hang out, open bar. I'll buy you a drink, all that fun stuff. I don't even drink, so you can have my drink. I'll be the weird guy at a brewery drinking water, so you can drink in my place. What up, ASO? All right, guys, let's go ahead and record the privilege escalation video for this series so we can knock it out. I'm going to get a drink of water. Oh, did we get a raid? Oh, shoot. Who raided? Let me get Twitch pulled up. I apologize, Raiders. I cannot see the Twitch notifications in Restream. It's stupid. Let me get this pulled up. It's not showing me. Who was it? Who raided? Was it No Man's Land official? You think it would show me? I'm logged into Twitch now, but I'm not seeing it. Let me pull them up real quick. No Man's Land officials rated the party 9. Amazing. Dude, thank you so much for rating. I'm trying to get your Twitch channel pulled up real quick on my other screen. What were you working on? If you don't mind me asking. Full-time creator and streamer. Amazing. Hey, let's show this person some support. So here is Nomad Official. Make sure you guys all go support them. I'm going to drop a link in chat. This link should go to YouTube and Twitch and LinkedIn. Just playing some games with chat tonight. Amazing. So, hey, just drop the link there. I'm going to go ahead and follow real quick. There, boom. I followed. So, all of you in chat, go show No Man Land Official some love. We have right now, let me look at the channels. We have 60 people on YouTube, 20 people on Twitch, so that's 80 people, and then it doesn't show me how many people on LinkedIn, but I know we have a handful there. So all of you, Twitch, YouTube, and LinkedIn, go and show No Man's Love some support over on Twitch. Go subscribe. But okay, for all of you who are rating, my name is Tyler. I am a pen tester by day, content creator by night, make ethical hacking content. The thing that's probably different about my stream is I do a lot of like live stream hanging out shenanigans, but there's also times where I film standalone videos for my YouTube channel. So I know you're joining me over on Twitch. My primary platform is YouTube. So if you want to be awesome, you should come sub to me on YouTube. Just drop the link in chat. But this is where I post all my standalone videos. I make many of these while I am streaming. But I've been going through a series on solving the Pentest hiring challenge. This video that I'm going to record is part 3, and we're going to be focused on privilege escalation. So that is the plan. I'm doing a lot of talking about other things. Let's go ahead and dive into this. Now I'm going to take that drink of water. Yeah, no, man. Feel free to hang out and lurk. Feel free to jump off, but really do appreciate the support. What up, Drake? I'm doing good, dude. All right, let me go ahead and record an intro, and we'll dive in. Well, hey, welcome back for another video. This is going to be part 3 of my series of working through a Pentest hiring challenge. If you missed part 1 or part 2, watch those first. Otherwise, I promise you are going to get lost. In part 1, we went through enumeration. In part 2, we covered exploitation. And now in the final video in this mini series, we're going to cover privilege escalation and finally getting the root flag. Now, I do also want to let you know that I'm making this video while I'm live streaming. So if you've never been part of my live streams, you should join. I live stream various nights of the week, and you can see everybody in chat. They get to be part of the live live studio audience. So hey, if you want to be cool like them, make sure you mark the little bell thingy on YouTube so that you get notified when I am live. All that being said, let's go ahead and dive right back into this machine, picking up where we left off. In part 2, we were able to do exploitation and we got our initial shell, and here we are with this shell. Now, the first thing that we can do is stabilize our shell. If that's new terminology to you, to stabilize our shell just makes our shell, well, a little more stable. We can do command completion, we can clear the screen, things like that. Now, it is a real live Dead Droid, I promise. I am not just an advanced AI video recording. Dread Droid, it is a real live. Shout out to you, my friend, for jumping in chat. Anyways, one of the first things you want to do is stabilize your shell to make it a little bit easier to work with. But for me personally, I always forget the syntax for stabilizing my shell. But there's a really great extension for both Firefox and Chrome called Hack Tools. Let me know in chat if anyone's ever heard of or used Hack Tools, because when I first discovered this as an extension, it blew my mind. But let me show you Hack Tools. We can open up Hack Tools. I like to make it full screen mode. And here in Hack Tools, we can grab a bunch of different shells like this if we want to. But we also, you can look at everything over on the side here. What we can also do is go to TTY spawn shell, and this is how we stabilize our shell. We can quite literally script kiddie our way through. So we'll Python 3 that first. Then we need to run this command. All right, then we need to Control Z. And then we need to run this command. And then finally, we need to run this command. And now, we stabilize our shell. And look at that. Drewzilla just gifted 1 membership of a basic membership, and Jimmy Barrios is the recipient. Dude, Drewzilla, thank you so much for the gifted membership. You are amazing. And Jimmy, hey, welcome to the membership over on YouTube. Anyways, now we have stabilized our shell. It'll make it a little bit easier for us to work with. But here we are on Linux, and we want to do privilege escalation. And I just want to ask those of you watching live in real time, what are some things that you would recommend doing? When you get initial access to a Linux machine, and imagine this is a Pentest hiring challenge, what are some of the solid, basic methodology things that you should check? How many command spells do you know? I don't know, dude. A lot. I'll share with you a few things that I check. Yep, exactly. So Neffel says sudo permission, sudo GUID. Exactly. So we can do sudo. And you can see we do sudo-L to list out our sudo privileges. We are prompted for a password for www data. Now, as of now, we don't know a password for www data, so there's not a whole lot we can do there, but it's worth at least adding to our notes. Because once again, we want to keep in mind that we want to treat this like a real Pentest hiring challenge. And when you're doing that, it's less important, can you solve the machine? And more important, what is your methodology and what is your note-taking process? I'm going to do a new H1 tab over here in Notion, and we'll call this privilege escalation. And we'll drop it in there, and we'll say sudo for www data requires a password. Yo, this is crazy. We got more of the gifted memberships. ASO, the real MVP, gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much, my friend, for your generosity. Really do appreciate it. But let's go back to here. A few other things that we can check. Let me scroll up in chat. I know a few people said things. Which machine is this? This machine is reset from VulnLab. Crons, blah, 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 sudo L. RMRF. Yeah, that's a great command to do. One thing I like to do is wherever you drop into your shell, just lsla. There might be an interesting file right in that directory. Now, we've already looked at this a little bit. There is this private right here. And I don't know if I can... Yeah, there we go. And we already looked at this database. We looked in the previous video. It's just a hash password for the admin user on the web app, which isn't really helpful for us because we can easily get that information. So what I like to do is go out directory by directory. So let's go to the www directory and just look at what's there. Nothing interesting. I mean, var, there's going to be things there, but nothing super interesting. Go back out to the root directory, lsla. And what we're looking for here is anything out of the ordinary. Now we can see, of course, flag.txt. I'm not going to show you the flag on stream, but that is the user flag. We can see media, mount, all standard Linux stuff, nothing that really stands out. Another thing that we want to do is get UID. I'm thinking Metasploit ID, which when we run ID, one thing should stand out to you. Let me know, for those of you watching the live stream, what you see here and why it's important. I'm just going to copy this and add it to my notes for now. Or why it might be important, I suppose. I know it's a little bit behind. Check for running processes. Exactly. That's a good idea. For admin. Exactly. So we have different groups that our user is in. These are all standard groups because it's just based on our name. But we have a non-standard group called the ADM, or the admin group. So if you don't know what that is, well, that's the beauty of Google. If we go to Hacktricks admin Linux group, you can actually see it right here. I use this group in one of my machines that I made for Try Hack Me. But you can see this. Usually members of the group admin have permissions to read log files located inside of var log. Therefore, if you've compromised a user inside this group, you should definitely take a look at the log. So let's go ahead and just unravel this string. I don't know why that... There we go. That works that way. So let's check this out. We'll jump back over to our terminal. Yeah, exactly, Zero Cool. My machine, Silver Platter, uses this as privilege escalation. So we have a bunch of different logs here, but one quick way that we can see if there's anything interesting, we can do the grep command, which, let me see if I can zoom in for you guys a little bit. We can grep ignore case sensitivity. So this means, like, if we do the dash lowercase I, whether it's password like this or password like this, it'll still find it. It doesn't matter. And then we also want to do a dash R for recursive search. So it searches through every file here. We do grep ir password, and then I think a dot. And we get some permission denieds on these. We get other things here. And really what you're looking for is there any passwords being passed in the logs that we might be able to abuse. And I'm not seeing much of anything. Oh, ILR shows you the files, which is helpful. Gotcha. Oh, to color the shell? You guys are too fancy. But like I said, I'm not seeing anything here. We can search for admin, but nothing super helpful, but still. And I'll even tell you this. This is not the way to elevate your privileges here on this machine. This is more of a rabbit hole. But remember, this was a Pentest hiring challenge. So this is something that they would have wanted you to find while you're doing the hiring challenge. So then when you do the debrief with the interviewers, you can tell them, hey, I found the admin group. I know based on my research that allows me to read log files in var/log. I grep for passwords and things like that, but I wasn't able to find anything. But I did spot that as a finding or a vulnerability while working through this hiring challenge. That's what they would want you to see, or what you would say if you were doing this for an interview. But I can tell you, this is not actually the way to elevate your privileges on this machine. I want to jump back a little bit, because there's something that's very real world about this machine, but almost like a gotcha when it comes to doing a CTF or doing a hiring challenge. You guys have said a lot of great things in chat, like checking processes, things like that. There's one piece just to keep in mind. When it comes to doing an actual pen test or even a hiring challenge, things that you find in the beginning of the engagement might be important again later in the engagement. So I want you to think back to part 1 of this series when we were doing enumeration. The first thing that we did on enumeration is we ran an IMAP scan against all the ports that were open, and we found a few different interesting services. We, of course, found SSH on port 22. We, of course, found a web server on port 80, but we also found this over on port 512, 513, and 514. So you might think, what exactly are those ports? Well, we can look that up. Ports 512, 513, 514. is R services. And if we look at this, we can see that, like this right here. We can do some Googling on what this is. A non-password-based remote execution program, blah, blah. RSH, RLogin, RSH commands, RSH commands, RSH commands. We have some potential findings in there, but we have something with RSH commands. So what exactly is, let's read about it. Let's do some research. We have our AI overview. We'll see how accurate it is. It looks like it is accurate. It says on Linux, RSH is a command line tool that allows you to execute commands on a remote machine over a network. It's a legacy tool. Now, when you're doing a pen test, you will run into legacy tools. Maybe not on an external network, but if you do an internal network pen test from an assumed breach, you will often stumble across legacy tools. It's a legacy tool and is generally less secure than SSH. RSH relies on a trust-based authentication mechanism, checking the rhost file on the remote host for allowed users and hosts. So that's interesting. Let's go ahead and just copy this and add it to our notes. Let me jump back down to privilege escalation. And I'm going to make a new H2 maybe, and we'll say digging into RSH. We remembered that some interesting ports were open. Geez, I cannot type. During our mmap scan. 512, 513, 514. These are for RSH. And let's go ahead and just do a text block here. And so let's grab the few biggest ideas that I see here. So we know that RSH equals command execution. So if we can compromise RSH in some way, I didn't mean to capitalize RSH fully there, but if we can compromise RSH, we have command execution. That is good. It also says it's a legacy tool. So legacy tool might be vulnerable, right? Worth digging into. And here's the key. RSH relies on a trust-based authentication mechanism, checking the rhost file on the remote host for allowed users and hosts. So we'll say it checks rhosts for allowed users and hosts. Okay, let's continue doing our digging here. Like RSH rhost location, if we don't know where that is, let's see if this can help us. So it should be located in the user's home directory on Linux, blah, blah, blah. The rhost file must reside at the top level, so it's going to be in a user's home directory. Let's do some digging there. We'll cd over to this. And this is the root directory right here. We can cd over to home, lsla, and we have two users. We have a local and an sadmin user. If we cd into local, can we do anything there? Permission denied. Sadmin, we also get permission denied. So that's not going to be super helpful to us yet. Miss anything in the chat? So you have to check the file rhost for user enum. Yes, but where is our host? So I want you to keep this like in the back of your mind. I'm throwing a bunch of different privilege escalation things in here because I want those who watch this video to see multiple things to check for privilege escalation. So we know that our hosts might be promising. If we're able to find where the heck that file is, we can do a grep ir or not grep root directory find. But there's another thing called linps. Now I know for those of you who do CTFs regularly, you know what linps is, but a lot of the people who are watching this, they may have never heard of linps before. So although we may not fully need it for this machine, I want to show off linps, then we can come back over to RSH. So if you've never heard of linps, it's Linux Privilege Escalation Scanner. I don't actually know what it stands for. But what linps does is it helps automate a lot of privilege escalation checks on a Linux machine. There's also WinPs for the Windows side of things. Is there a Tyler for blue teaming? I don't know. I do some blue teaming stuff on my stream. So linpeas is a script that checks for possible paths to escalate privs on Linux, Unix, Mac OS hosts. The checks are explained on book.hacktricks.wiki. And you can see how we can download it. I'm going to go ahead and grab it right here. Open up a new terminal. I'm going to rename this one. We'll call this our shell. Hey, Knight, we are doing the reset machine over on Vulnab. We'll curl it. I think linpeas.sh -o for output file. I think that's the correct way to do it. And then I'm going to open up a basic Python web server so that I can transfer the file back and forth. And let me explain what I'm doing here. We, of course, have linpeas.sh here on my Kali machine, but we don't have it on our victim machine. And we can't just like grab this file and drag and drop it, so we have to transfer the file. There's multiple different ways you can do this, but the easiest way, especially from Linux to Linux, is just hosting a basic web server on your attack machine and then downloading it from the victim machine. Hello, can you help me? No idea what your issue is, J-Ray, but not right now. No, I cannot. But here we go. We set up our basic web server. Let's go over to our victim machine, and we can go to a directory such as temp, which is a directory we can often write in. And we can do wget to download it, HTTP. We want to put in our attacker IP, which is up there, 10.8.4.163, linpeas.sh. All right, we have it. Now we want to make it executable. Sorry, J Ray. There's a lot of things that I have to dig into there to be able to help you. Our host stored in home. Got it. Well, let's run linpeas, then we'll go back to our host. But let me just show how linpeas works for those of you who might be new to it. So we're going to make linpeas executable, which is all this is doing. Change mod, add the executable bit to it to linpeas. Now we can run it as a binary. Now, when you first see this, the output is overwhelming because you're not quite sure what to check for. But the cool thing about linpeas is it kind of helps you. It color codes things. What you really want to look for is this right here, this red and yellow, because there's a 95% chance there's a privilege escalation vector to it. Red is something worth looking into, and then other things are more informational things that you might know. So we have some basic information about the Linux version. Whoops. Let me scroll up. It's scrolling down for me. We have our users and groups, which it finds right there that we are in the admin group. And we have our host name of reset. It's going to go ahead and check our operating system to see if there's anything vulnerable there. The sudo version to see if there's any sudo version vulnerabilities that might lead to privilege escalation. We can scroll through here. There's no interesting unmounted file system, disk, environment. Here is some potential vulnerabilities, but what I will say is most of the time on a CTF or an exam, these are not going to be your way in. Hey, thank you, Ashley, for checking in. Appreciate you being here. We'll scroll through here. We have some tools that might be helpful for us. All right, we're checking running processes, which I know a few of you said in the chat, hey, check processes. The cool thing about linpeas is it will check processes for you. All right, I'm going to scroll. Does anything stand out to you guys? Did you see anything? Did you see anything highlighted? Let me do it again. All right, scrolling. They see me scrolling. They hating, patrolling. We got that team accession. So this is interesting. It is highlighting tmux for us here. Tmux is a terminal emulator that people more elite than me use tmux all the time. I don't use tmux because I just use the basic freaking terminal built into Kali. But a lot of people use tmux. Tmux allows you to save sessions and things like that. But we have an sadmin user who has a tmux session opened. If we can somehow compromise this tmux session, well, that's going to be good for us. Let's go ahead and grab this and drop it into our notes. And we're going to do a new, maybe H2, linpeas analysis. And so we have this highlighted by linpeas. Let's scroll through here. What up, Laughing Sec? Good to have you here, my friend. So yes, good job, guys, spotting the TMUX session. We'll come back to that. But I always like to scroll through. So when I'm doing this on a Pentest or a CTF, I always read everything in its entirety and just mark down everything that's interesting I should come back to. I think someone asked, so do you report those CVEs in actual Pentest? Potentially, but a lot of times they're not exploitable. I will say if you're on a Linux machine on an actual pen test, it's generally you're doing an internal pen test and you compromise a Linux machine and you're looking for privilege escalation. We can scroll through. Let's see if anything else stands out to us. We can see our interfaces. Now, this is helpful if you're on a pen test or even an exam. What you're looking for on the network interfaces is whether or not it has multiple interfaces that might give you a different IP or a different network. It's called being dual homed. So if you compromise, for example, a machine in the DMZ or the demilitarized zone in the internet, right? So it has a connection to the internet and a connection to the internal network. If you can compromise that machine, you can use that dual home nature to pivot into another subnet or something on the network. So always worth looking at interfaces there. We have host file information, but not our hosts. Users, so we have the admin one highlighted in red. Remember, that's like, hey, something to take a look into. We already looked into it, and that gives us the permission to read log files in var/log, but we weren't able to find anything super interesting. We have the PK exec binary has a SUID bit set, so that might be worth coming back to see if we can exploit it. I'm just going to drop it in a code block here. So being dual home lets you move laterally in the network. Yes, if you can compromise a machine that's dual homed, you can often use that second interface to pivot deeper into the network and use that machine as a launching point. We have that TMUX session again as admin there. Scrolling. So we have it analyzing our sync files. Interesting. We'll keep going. I'm curious if it picks up on the R host stuff or not. Searching for TMUX sessions again. Nothing else really standing out to us. We have flag.txt in root, of course. Okay. In a real pen test, do you clean everything after privesc? Yes. Most of the time you should. All right, I'm looking at chat. I will come back to your guys' questions once we continue working through this machine, but let's see if we can knock this out. So looking at what we have so far, we have a TMUX session, but can we actually hijack it? That's the question. So let's go ahead and read about that. If we go to Hacktricks, TMUX, we have actually hacking articles right here. So we're going to kind of scan through this. We'll see what we're able to do. We can list sessions. Assigning pseudo rights, exploiting. I like Hacktricks. So let's go to Hacktricks real quick and let's look it up here. Where's their search thing? Don't they? Oh, there it is. I don't know why it wasn't there first. What? Have you guys noticed that Hacktricks has been more buggy than normal? Or is it just me? All right, this was a problem with an old tmux versions. I wasn't able to hijack a tmux 2.1 session created by root as a non-privileged user. So we can list tmux sessions attached to a session. Okay, so that might be a potential interesting thing. Grab a drink. So could be something interesting, but in order to hijack tmux, oops, I got the wrong window pulled up. In order to hijack tmux, we need access as the sadmin user, which right now we don't have access to. Right, if we go to home, we have permission denied. So we can't go into the tmux session to see what they're doing. We also can't get into local, but that's a piece that we're going to want to keep in mind because it's likely going to come in handy. We also have Polkit here. Now, I'm not going to go into this rabbit hole. I can tell you right now, this isn't going to be the way of privilege escalation on here. Hacktricks buggy for me at the most random times. Hacktricks GitHub has more stuff. Got it. Good to know. What up, Taekwon? Good to have you here. So let's go back into RSH and see if we can find the R host. So let's continue to search for that. Is the location anywhere else? So it's all saying it's in the user's home directory. But I'm not seeing that. So we can go ahead and try to search for it. Find from the root directory name our hosts, I think. Like so. Let me go like this. I think my syntax there is correct. It didn't find anything. Is my syntax there incorrect, though? It might be. Find from the root directory name. Go like this. Okay, it is actually trying to search. How do you know if something is a rabbit hole? So you have a lot of those on the OSCP. The best advice I can have for rabbit holes is when you are enumerating the potential rabbit hole, is set a timer for yourself. So like a 20 or 30 minute timer. And that will be helpful. There's another file that we can look into that this might potentially be in. I believe, is it cat? Okay, I think it's this file right here. Okay. Yes, it is. And I was thinking Google would show this to us, but it took a little bit. So if we look at this right here, since the rhost file wasn't something we could see, it says the etc host equiv file contains a list of trusted hosts for remote system, one per line. If a user attempts to log in remotely using rlogin from one of the hosts listed in this file, and if the remote system can access the user's password entry, the remote system allows the user to log in without a password. So let's grab this information right here. And no, this machine is not free. You need a VulnLab subscription. I don't know how to put this in. Maybe this. This is not Try Hack Me. This is VulnLab. This is part 3 of a video series. Watch part 1 and part 2 if you're feeling a little bit lost. I'm not going to explain things since those videos are out there. At least things in much depth. But anyways, we have this etc host equiv file. And if we look at it, we have this information. So let's grab this and try to analyze this together. Because when I was going through this machine live, like on my own when it first released, this is where I got a little bit stuck because I didn't quite understand what this file was telling me. It says a list of hosts and users that are granted trusted R command access to your system. We have -root, -local, but then a plus s admin. And I don't know if, what if I just type this into Google? No, that won't work. Will the built-in AI in Google be able to help me with this? Let's find out. Google search. No. All right. So what might be helpful, I'm going to stop sharing my screen just for a moment. This is where ChatGPT can be super helpful. Hopefully. Now, let me give you a quick word on ChatGPT, and I'll even stop sharing my screen because this is important. When people are learning, even myself, I can find myself becoming too reliant on ChatGPT and other LLMs and agents. Do not do that. Even if it's going to take you an extra hour by reading random threads and kind of going through the internet rabbit hole to figure things out, it will allow the learning, the knowledge to stick a lot better than if you immediately turn to ChatGPT or another LLM in order to find the quick answer. So although I'm going to show you a way that we can use ChatGPT as a tool to analyze this file for us, I just want to give you that caution. Do not always jump to LLMs. Instead, always jump to your own thinking, read the man page, do the -H on the command, and read through it yourself. The LLM might give you the answer, but you struggling to find it yourself is what's going to cement that learning for you. With that as a warning, let me jump over to this, and we'll say, what does this file mean for our login? All right, the host equip file is used by older remote access protocols like rlogin, RSH, and RCP to define trusted hosts and users who are allowed to execute commands or log in without supplying a password. Let's break down the file. So you can see the file right here. Line by line breakdown. -root. This denies the user root from trusted access regardless of host. It is security best practice, etc., etc. Same with -local. But now we have +sadmin. This allows the user sadmin to have trusted access from all hosts. This means sadmin can rlog in or run RSH commands on this system without needing a password, assuming the originating host allows the connection. This setup blocks the dangerous or overly permission stuff, blah, blah. Caution, rlog and RSH are insecure because they transmit data in plain text and are vulnerable to IP spoofing. This mechanism is largely depreciated in favor of SSH. So it gives us a little more information. But let's grab this because this is really helpful for understanding this. And then we'll close out our robot friend. Let me scroll back up to here. Using AI to understand this file. And here was the information that we got. Let me look at chat real quick. With that warning, we're about to do exactly that. Yes. Hey, Tyler, what is your opinion on the current job market for OffSec? Blue teamers have more job opportunities. They do have way more job opportunities, and it pays better. I took a pay cut to become a pen tester. Is it worth it getting into OffSec? If you enjoy it, it's worth it. But don't get into it for the money. You'll make more money on the blue team, from my experience. Anyways, how can we abuse this? For those of you watching this video after the fact on YouTube, I really want you to pause and think about it. We have RSH that allows sadmin to log in without a password. What's a creative way we might be able to abuse this? For those of you in the live stream, if you have an idea, let me know. What do you think? See if anyone gets it. I'm not seeing too much chatter. We have over 100 people watching. So like there's 100 plus of you. Surely someone might have an idea here. Let's think through this logically. I'm going to do like potential attack. And we'll reason through this together. So number one, sadmin can log into the system without a password using RSH. All right, so we can establish that. So sadmin can log into the system without a password using RSH. Well, what if we just create an sadmin on our attack machine and use RSH to log in? You know, the whole this isn't Hack the Box, this is vulnerab, although they were purchased by Hack the Box, so I think it works. But Hack the Box does a good job of saying, hey, think outside of the box. The simple attack that shouldn't make sense is often what makes sense. Not only on this machine, but even in the real world. We often overcomplicate things and get stuck in massive rabbit holes instead of looking at a potentially obvious attack path. So let's go ahead and try this. We'll go over to our attack terminal right here. Let me clear this out. And let's create a user. We'll do sudo user add -m -s. I should explain this. -m is create a home directory. -s is for the default shell. So we'll do bin bash, and we're going to create a user called sadmin. I think my syntax is correct. Okay, beautiful. Let's go ahead and set their password. We'll do hacksmarter123. I spelled it wrong that time. All right, we updated our password, and let's switch over to sadmin. Hacksmarter123. I can't even log into the account I just made myself. There we go. Now I am logged in as an sadmin user. So thinking through that, now we need to think, how do we log in? Well, look at this. It says this means that sadmin can log in or run RSH commands on the system without needing a password. Well, this is what we're going to do. rlogin reset.vl L as the sadmin user, login as them, and hit enter. And we just logged in as the sadmin user. So we have compromised another user. Let's make sure we add this information to our notes if we were preparing for a job interview. So I'm going to jump up here and I'll say, maybe do an H1 compromising the sadmin user. And I'm just going to drop my commands into a code block so it's easy to reference. We'll show myself making the account and then logging into the account. And then who am I? We are sadmin. Like so. And then some of our enumeration starts over again. Can we sudo L? Can we do anything? Well, we don't know. Confusing. We know the sadmin password on our machine. We don't know the sadmin password on this machine, so we can't actually check sudo then. If I can get out of the sudo prompt, there we go. We can do ID, what groups are we in? So we're just in the sadmin group, but then remember, does rlog consider the created username of sadmin to be the sadmin on the vulnerable machine? Yeah. If I understand what you're asking, but yes. It thinks we are the sadmin because it's misconfigured. That's what we're looking for, is misconfigurations. But we have sadmin compromised. Now let's remember what we saw. I'm going to delete this because I know it's not going to be helpful. Although for an interview, you maybe want to keep that up. We have this tmux session, which is going to be something worth looking at how to hijack. Now, I'm not a tmux expert, but there's some basic tmux commands that I will teach you today. At least I think these are the right commands. So with tmux, we can see what sessions might be available. Are there any tmux sessions? We know there's one for sadmin, but if we didn't know that, we can list it out. So it's tmux, I think, list sessions. And we see we have one Windows, one sadmin session created Friday, May 30th, blah, 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 when it launched. Now, what we can do is attach to this session. tmux allows people to do different terminals. You can unattach from a tmux session, reattach, and when you reattach, you now have access to whatever that tmux session had access to. You may be able to find some sensitive information, very real world thing that you might run into, although in the real world, you may not want to jump into a tmux session as someone is actively using it because it's going to be obvious you're on their tmux session. But let's do tmux, attach session, -t, and the session we want to attach to is this one right here. So I'm going to copy that name and paste it in. And I don't know how to spell. It's not attached. In the past tense, it's attached session, I think. There we go. Now we're actually in this session. And this is interesting. We jump into the session, and the first thing that stands out to me, it says user sadmin may run the following commands on reset: nano, tail, and tail. So let's go to another website that you should be aware of called GTFO bins. Do I use OBS Studio? I do use OBS Studio. GTFO bins, another website you're going to want to get familiar with as you're learning CTFs and pen testing and all of that stuff. With GTFO bins, what it means is, hey, if we can run a command such as nano as a sudo user, as the root user, we might be able to escape that and get a shell as the root user. So if we go to nano right here, you can see this. It can be used to break out from restricted environments by spawning an interactive system shell. And here's kind of a hint here. Do you remember what this machine was called? Reset. In order to escape nano, we end up running the command reset. So that's a pretty good hint that we are in the right spot. So it's nano, control R, control X, reset, blah, blah. Let's just try this. Sudo user nano etc firewall.sh. Okay, so here we are here. I'm going to do control R, control X, and now command to execute. We can grab this right here. And I'm going to hit enter. And do you guys see this? It's a little bit strange because I'm executing it within nano, but who am I? I am root. And I now have access to, as you can see, the root directory. And I also have access to the final flag right there. If you want to get the final flag, you're just going to have to cat this out. Well, you'll have to type it out. Me doing that messed it up because of the weird session. But we are the root user, and we have fully compromised this machine. So we can go ahead and grab that for our notes. The final syntax that we used is we exploited the fact that we had access on nano, and I forgot to include that, so we'll say we attached to the tmux session. We saw that we had sudo privs for nano. We followed this guide from GTFO bins. And that gave us root access to this machine. And that allows us to complete the Pentest hiring challenge, but that is only the beginning. From here, you would end up doing a debrief with the person who's interviewing you, and then you would walk them through explaining everything that you were able to do. Hey, Laughing, this was not blind like normal. This was a machine I did a while ago that I wanted to showcase in 3 different parts. So a little more prep than I normally am when I work through this machine, but wanted to focus on teaching rather than just blindly stumbling across it. But guys, here's a gift I want to give you. For those of you watching this live on stream, or for those of you watching this after the fact on YouTube, I want to give you all of these notes. So you watched me work through this machine from enumeration to exploitation to privilege escalation, and I even set up notes in a way that you'll be able to follow along on your own, and I want you to add everything we worked on together to your own notes. So here's what I am going to do. I'm going to share this page of notes with all of you. All of you, free of charge. You can have all of my notes as I worked through this machine. Let me stop sharing my screen just for a moment while I get that set up. For those of you watching after the fact on YouTube, you will be able to see a link to this in the YouTube description. So make sure you grab that. Let me jump back over to scene and let me drop the notes right there. It should work. I dropped it over in chat. I'm going to make sure it actually works. I'm going to open up a new private window. Can I access my own notes? And I can. So there you go. You guys have been on this journey with me over a series of 3 different videos, and now you have my full notes that we created together on this series. I hope you can use these notes for your own learning and add it to your own notes as you continue your learning journey of pen testing, CTFs, and all of that fun stuff. But hey, a big thank you to all of you who've hung out with me for this 3-part video series. Let me know what you thought of this. If you want more series like this of working through like more pen test career stuff and more teaching, let me know in the comments. Believe it or not, I do my best to read every comment on my YouTube channel, and I will also do my best to respond to you. But thank you so much for being part of this series with me. Enjoy the notes I just gave you, and I will catch you in the next one. All right. Now I'm hanging out with you guys, but I am going to sign off. I'm going to try to get some exercise in before going to bed for the night. But we have like 100 people watching. It blows me away that all of you find this helpful, or at least helpful enough to lurk in the background. So thank you all for being here. What we're going to do now is see if we can find somebody to raid. So the vast majority of you are on YouTube. I have almost a little over 70 people on YouTube. If you missed part 1 and part 2, guys, make sure you go back to that. I'll be posting part 3 soon. Part 1 and part 2, I very much slowed down and explained the whole process. So watch part 1, watch part 2, and watch part 3 if you were lost in any step of the way. And then I think all of the pieces will begin coming together for you. Now, finally, I want to find someone to raid. If you're not used to Twitch, raid terminology means we take all of our viewers and send them to somebody else that's streaming. But almost all of you are on YouTube. So if you guys can do me a favor and jump from YouTube to Twitch, I would appreciate it. Even if you're not going to hang out super long on the raid, it's just a good way for us to show another streamer some support from the Hack Smarter community. Even if you don't have a Twitch account, you can be part of the raid. Let me drop a link to my Twitch over in chat. Thank you, Joaquin. Thank you, everyone, for the kind words. So default sec, there's a few things that we could have done to really establish persistence. You notice that we had access to the .ssh file for the root user. We could have added our own keys to the root user to get persistence that way. We could have set up a cron job. As root, we could have done a lot of things. We could have just made ourselves a new user account with root privileges. Like there's a bunch of different things we could have done. And then you could close the window and still have persistence. So it's really, with root access, even in that weird nano shell, the sky's the limit for what you can do to establish persistence. See if anyone's streaming. We have a couple of Spanish streamers. We can raid them. The one of the streamers I know speaks English and Spanish because we raided him recently. Let me see who else might be streaming. Give me just a second. Go over to science and technology. Also, hey, since I have all of you here, let me just remind you before you sign off. My intro to AWS pen testing course, 66 lessons. That's right, I added one. Continually updated. That's going to take you from beginner level to intermediate when it comes to AWS pen testing. This course is available right now for $20, but that price is going up on June 1st. So in just a few days, that price is going up. So let me drop the link right there. Purchase the course if you haven't already. I mean, the price is going to go up to $34.99, so still super affordable. One other announcement I want to tell you about, if you're not part of the Hack Smarter community, well, you're missing out. This is the coolest community around. Here is our website. It looks weird because I have Dark Reader on, but wait, no, it looks even more weird now. I might have to fix something. Anyways, this is the Discord link. Come join the Hack Smarter community, but I am doing a special live stream tomorrow. Going to be a little bit shorter, but it's going to be like the state of Hack Smarter. And I'm going to share with you a bunch of exciting things that we have coming up and ways that you can get involved with our community. Hack Smarter, I might be biased because I started it, but I really do think we are one of the coolest communities around when it comes to blue team, red team, sysadmin, all of that stuff. So I'll be back on tomorrow night at 8:30 Central Standard Time. So John Doe, push it back by 30 minutes. I need to adjust the event on Discord. I forgot that in the summertime, my kids stay up until 8 p.m. There's no way I can stream at that time. So I got to push it back by 30 minutes. But yeah, make sure you come back tomorrow night for that State of Hack Smarter. The course is, I think, 12 to 16 hours. I don't remember the total length of time. I know it gives you 14 CEUs, so 14 credit hours, but that's the course. Somewhere from 12 to 16 hours is what you're looking at on the course. But anyways, tomorrow night, come back for the State of Hack Smarter. All right, that being said, let me go ahead and go back to trying to find someone to raid. And you guys can be part of the raid. Is there anyone else hanging out, streaming? Okay, guys, I don't know who this person is. They're writing a Go Live chat server, so doing some coding. And they have one viewer. How cool would it be if all of us raid them and just show some love and support? And everyone follow too. Let's just overwhelm them with support and following. We have over on Twitch, what do we have right now? 28 people. Beautiful. Guys, let's go ahead and show this person some love. I'm going to get the raid set up, and then I'm going to sign off. I'll hang out in the raid with you. Guys, when we raid, make sure everyone says in chat, hack smarter, not harder. But he's working on a Go Live chat server. No idea who this is, but let's show some support. Hack smarter, not harder. And everyone follow when you get in because it will notify them that we're following. Let's show this person some love, support, and encouragement as they're working on this chatbot. The rest of you, thank you for being here.